Today we're going to look at the times Brian did good deeds for the Griffin family. But before we get into the main content, don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel. Number 1. Donating both kidneys to Peter, Season 9, Episode 8. Completely exhausted from Brian keeping him up all night, Peter gets introduced to the magical world of Red Bull by a couple of guys who clearly don't care about public safety. After guzzling an absurd amount of energy drink, Peter returns home in beast mode, turning the Griffin household into pure chaos.
Whoa, boy, that Red Bull's some strong stuff!
Lois, being the only responsible adult, as usual, dumps all the Red Bull into the garden in an attempt to restore order.
Official flower business.
But Peter, being Peter, refuses to be defeated and comes up with possibly the dumbest idea of his life. He decides to brew his own Red Bull.
Peter, that's insane. That'll destroy your body.
Kerosene is fuel, Brian. Red Bull is fuel. Kerosene is Red Bull. Now, why don't you leave me alone while I'm doing my important work?
The result? He poisons himself with kerosene and immediately passes out. Classic.
See, Brian? I feel great.
Oh, you're alive. Okay, I won't eat you then. I was gonna eat you.
At the hospital, Dr. Hartman diagnoses Peter with kidney failure and places him on the transplant waiting list.
Is there any other way?
Yes, there is.
No. We'll do the dialysis.
This means Peter now has to undergo dialysis several times a week, which he quickly finds super boring.
Ha! The lock horns. Always locking horns. Oh my god, that's why they call it that.
In true Peter fashion, he ditches treatment just to watch Charles in charge. And shocker, he passes out again.
Peter, you don't look so good.
What are you talking about? I feel great. Like I could go another 20 years or more.
This makes the Griffin family even more desperate to find a kidney donor. Enter Brian, the ultimate good boy. In a moment of selfless heroism, Brian volunteers to donate his kidney.
Is that possible, Doctor?
Well, I suppose. Stranger things have happened in medicine. I once tried to clone a chicken. The result wound up being a man-sized chicken that was incredibly hostile and ended up escaping from the lab.
Miraculously, Dr. Hartman discovers that Brian's kidney is a perfect match. The family is overjoyed.
Well, according to these results, Brian is a match.
Yeah, ice cream sounds great.
Until they hear the catch. Since Brian is, well, a dog, his kidney is too small, meaning Peter would need both of Brian's kidneys. Which, in case you skip biology class, means Brian wouldn't survive.
But I only have two. That's right. The procedure would kill you. Aha! That car's getting towed.
But Brian, being the loyal companion he is, agrees to sacrifice himself for Peter.
I want to return the favor. After all, I'm a dog. I have another 8 years at best. I'm willing to give that up so you can have another 40.
What follows is an emotional, tear-jerking farewell between Brian and the Griffin family.
Can I hump your leg for 15 uninterrupted seconds?
I suppose so, Brian. I said you could do it for 15 seconds.
Didn't need it.
Of course, Stewie, being the tiny evil genius he is, figures out Brian's plan, kidnaps him, and tries to stop the surgery.
Stewie, you're not a race car driver. And if you don't let me go right now, you're gonna lose your dad.
Brian manages to talk his way out and heads back to the hospital.
I want a hug. I love.
No, just wipe. Oh God, there's
Brian,
no Kleenex.
I love you
Go
so
roll
much.
around in the sandbox in the summer house. Go to the summer house and roll around.
Right before the surgery, Peter, in an attempt to lighten the mood, cracks a joke using the surgical instruments, which honestly is a bold move considering Brian is about to die for him.
Who's this at? Who's this at?
Probably belongs to the hospital.
What's that for? Huh? What's that for?
Cutting me open, harvesting my organs, and killing me.
You gonna go get it? You gonna get it, boy?
No, I think the doctors need it. Can we just lay here?
But wait, plot twist. Just as the surgery is about to begin, Dr. Hartman suddenly announces that he is actually a compatible donor.
Well, you see, Mrs. Griffin, I found another donor for your husband.
You did? Oh!
Me.
What?
It turns out I'm a perfect match.
Turns out, Brian's kidneys might not have even worked for Peter, and Hartman doesn't want to lose 2 patients in one day. In a surprising moment of competence, he steps in to save Peter, sparing Brian's life.
I mean, dog kidneys? I'm not even sure dogs have kidneys. What? Do dogs have kidneys?
Yes.
This is the guy.
And so, Peter gets his kidney, Brian gets to keep his life, and the Griffin household lives to see another day of ridiculous chaos. The real lesson here, maybe don't try to make homemade energy drinks. Number 2, taking a bullet for Peter. In the episode Forget Me Not, the guys ditch their families for a night of laser tag.
All right, well, if we just stick together, then...
Zap! What the?
No way!
How'd you learn to do that? The question isn't how I do it. It's how I forgive myself for what I've done.
Peter, being the competitive man-child he is, dominates the game and decides to celebrate by buying a fake newspaper featuring himself on the front page. Because, you know, priorities.
I didn't even get that when I brought that kitten and gorilla together. Huh? Did I tell you, Lois?
Oh, that's beautiful, Peter. She's taking care of that kitten like it's her own.
Yep, I knew eventually she'd stop tearing him in half.
When they get home, Lois absolutely loses it on Brian and Peter, while Stewie starts questioning Brian's friendship with Peter.
You're there. You're there.
I couldn't hear you. The radio was too loud.
To shake it off, Brian and Peter decide to grab the guys and head to their favorite dive bar, the Drunken Clam. But on the way, they spot some weird lights, and then blackout.
Peter, your seatbelt back here doesn't work right.
What's gonna happen to you that hasn't already happened?
Peter, look out for that car. That's not a car. What is that?
When they wake up in a hospital, everything is eerily silent and their memories are completely wiped.
Who are you?
I don't know. I just woke up here. I seem to be a heavy-set fellow.
You do.
As they wander through the deserted town, they struggle to piece together who they are.
Hello?
Oh, well, everybody's heard about the bird. The bird. The bird's a winner, well, the bird.
That's annoying.
Peter, in peak delusional mode, convinces himself that he was once a brilliant doctor who always found solutions to life-threatening problems, which, let's be honest, sounds nothing like Peter.
Oh my god, she's beautiful.
Yeah, she is. It's not yours. Yours died.
Quagmire, meanwhile, believes he was a complaint hotline operator for a Danish cookie company, because obviously that's the first thing that comes to mind in a crisis.
No, I know they don't taste very good. Well, because they're very dry, aren't they? I mean, they came in a tin. How fresh do you think they were going to be? Look, it's dark and freezing in Denmark. Everybody who made these cookies has shot themselves.
And Brian, he's convinced he used to be the speechwriter for the first black president. Bold claim, Brian, bold claim.
Hey, can he say the word ask? Or is that a word we should avoid?
Yeah, and I bet you I was the voice of an animated bird. I thought I saw a cat. I did see a cat.
As they stumble across Peter's car, Brian uses his superior doggy senses to sniff out clues, leading them to what he believes is his home.
Look at this indent on the steering wheel.
It's a perfect match.
Oh my god! You're Peter Griffin!
Yeah, I am.
And you live at 31 Spooner Street.
Finally, a real clue. Let's go.
When they arrive, Brian recognizes Quagmire's house as his, and suddenly decides that Quagmire must be his owner. What happens next? A hilariously awkward hug that had me in stitches.
You're my owner.
I knew it! I knew we were pals!
Yeah, I mean, there's no pictures of me, but I see you've got a dog collar and a leash.
And look how big your doggy cage is. You could fit a human in there.
Clearly, you're a good owner.
Meanwhile, Joe, having found a police uniform, confidently declares that he must have been a male stripper. Honestly, not the worst guess.
I found my house. Turns out my name's Joe Swanson, and I found this police uniform in my closet. Do you know what that means? I'm a stripper!
As they try to figure out what caused everyone to disappear, Joe and Quagmire come across the fake newspaper Peter made.
Oh my god! It's him!
He did this.
What do we do?
Naturally, instead of assuming Peter is just an idiot, they jump to the conclusion that he must be behind the whole thing.
Check it out. I got the little freak's bra. I'm gonna put it on. Huh, this actually fits pretty well. Oh, wait, there's a name on it. It's mine.
Joe theorizes that Peter is some kind of alien overlord with mysterious powers.
Look at him, watching, learning, absorbing.
This Janet is in love with this red-headed ashtray.
Lucy!
While Quagmire wonders why Peter hasn't eliminated them yet, Brian, ever the intellectual in his own mind, suggests that maybe Peter needs them. Quagmire, however, isn't convinced, reminding everyone that it once took an entire morning just to teach Brian a simple party trick. Ouch!
No, we practiced this. You're gonna make me look bad in front of the other guys. Other paw. Finally.
You know, this actually reminds me of a quote by Milton.
Shut the up.
As Joe and Quagmire plot to take Peter out, Brian, having spent more time with him, starts to defend his so-called best friend.
Guys, I'm not sure that Peter's the guy we think he is. He seems harmless and actually kind of nice.
Oh my God. You slept with him!
But when Joe and Quagmire arm themselves, Brian gets knocked aside as Joe takes the shot. In a moment of true heroism, Brian leaps in front of the bullet, saving Peter's life. What a good boy!
No, you bastard!
Number 3, sleeping on Peter's grave. In the special Christmas episode, Don't Be a Dickens at Christmas, Lois and the kids are busy preparing for the holiday, revealing that Chris has a long-lost twin brother named Timaeus, because why not?
Oh, I love this time of year. You know, Chris, you and your stillborn twin Tmiss were named after Christmas.
Lois reminds Brian to put his gift under the tree, but Brian has a surprise of his own for the whole family.
Well, as we know, the true spirit of the holiday is one of giving. So I've signed all of us up to volunteer tomorrow at a homeless shelter. That's your present.
Lois assumes it's something nice for the kids and pushes everyone to speed up the decorations, while Meg stuffs some Kanye-themed candy canes into the stockings.
Mark Zuckerberg promised he'd give me $50 million, fam, but then he welched and I'm penniless. Kanye is the greatest, Kanye drops the latest, there can be no debaters, and Kanye got the status.
Chris hears Peter's car pulling up, so the whole family rushes out to greet him, only for Peter to completely ignore them and head straight to the drunken clam.
He's coming fast. He can't wait to see us. Get out of the road, you idiots.
And he's headed right to the bar.
The clam's on the other side of town. He went out of his way to do this.
There, he and his friends are ambushed by an overly enthusiastic group of Christmas carolers.
Have you heard the story that they're telling about Bethlehem? Have you heard the story of the Jesus child?
Too late.
No matter how hard they try, Peter and the gang can't seem to escape. Poor Quagmire even gets forcibly recruited into the choir.
Oh my God, they got Quagmire!
Sing hallelujah, worship the Jesus child and praise his mother mild.
Eventually, Peter manages to break free and return home, where Lois is waiting with the dreaded to-do list, especially urgent since the family is volunteering the next day.
The pump's broken, so you'll have to do it by mouth. Then it's just laundry, take out the trash, and move the house a little bit to the left.
Can I do some of that tomorrow?
No, because tomorrow we're going down to volunteer at the homeless shelter.
But Peter, being his usual Scrooge-like self, isn't thrilled about doing charity work. Lois calls him selfish and accuses him of setting a bad example for the kids before storming off to her parents' house with the children.
I'll just watch my Patrick Swayze movie and take a 2 full bath. Now I want to be on that side. Well, that didn't work. Now to take a slidey toilet seat soaking wet dump.
Left alone, Peter cracks open a beer and watches a Patrick Swayze movie, only to doze off and wake up to Patrick Swayze himself appearing as his spiritual guide. Swayze's mission: to help Peter find the true meaning of Christmas.
So I've come back to help you recapture the true spirit of Christmas.
Ghost house.
Roadhouse.
Ghost road.
House.
Road ghost.
Peter's first reaction: can I run my hands through your hair like a dog playing in tall grass? Honestly, fair question. That was some great hair. Their journey begins in Peter's past, where he fondly watches a childhood Christmas with his mother and wonders whatever happened to his old friend Holden.
Hold it in!
Hold it in! Hold it in! Hold it in! Hold it in! Hold it in!
You died before Game of Thrones, but a lot of people will like that.
Next, Swayze takes him around Quahog, showing different families celebrating Christmas in the present, each one keeping the holiday spirit alive.
Christmas!
What's this?
Cold!
Why?
Bang!
Oh!
Thank you, Santa! Daddy, you missed Santa! He was right here!
But the biggest wake-up call comes when they visit Carter's mansion, where Peter realizes just how awful he's been for skipping out on his own family's Christmas.
Wie geht es dir?
Es gibt zu viele Juden in Brasilien.
What did she say?
She wishes you a Merry Christmas.
That's not what she said.
Time for figgy pudding!
At first, he assumes they must be heartbroken without him, but nope. Turns out, they're doing just fine.
Merry Christmas. Ah! You're very funny, Lance. You're a very handsome, funny man. Now let's see that penis.
Still unconvinced, Peter gets one final lesson: the future. Swayze shows him a bleak world where Peter has died, and Lois is so broke she's had to sell all her clothes just to survive.
Now, Lois had to sell her clothes to get by. I mean, I love having this underwear. I just don't love why I have it.
But Peter, being Peter, still doesn't grasp the gravity of the situation until Swayze takes him to his own grave.
You died from a fire started by your MILF on a shelf.
Want to see some pictures of my teenagers?
No, Karen.
Did I tell you I went to the mall with my daughter and an employee thought we were sisters?
Yes, many times.
There, Peter sees the one soul who remains truly loyal to him, Brian, his faithful dog and best friend, sleeping on his grave. The moment is deeply touching until it gets a little gross. Turns out Peter's spirit still lingers, but only in the form of Brian's farts.
It's disgusting in there. He eats garbage in his own poo. Please, Peter, don't lose your Christmas spirit. This is no life for a person. Please, Peter, he ate Lois's trash. There's tampons in there.
Number 4, destroying the Surfin' Bird CD with Stewie. I Dream of Jesus is one of those Family Guy episodes that sticks with you, mostly because of the hilariously over-the-top moment when Brian and Stewie finally snap and destroy Peter's obsessive music choice. It all starts when the Griffin family dines at Nifty 50's Diner, a 50s themed restaurant that instantly excites Peter.
Boy, am I going to enjoy this meal. Not like last night when I didn't have time to poop before the guests arrived. Do I have time? You know what? I'm going to go for it. Son of a bitch. Looks like I'm going to have to pile dinner on top of that. Hey, guys, how are ya?
Lois admires how the waitstaff all look like famous celebrities from the era, while Peter is just thrilled to relive his childhood.
Marilyn Monroe. Elvis. And look, there's James Dean after the accident.
Let me tell you about tonight's specials.
But in true 50s style, Cleveland gets immediately kicked out as soon as he arrives. Yeah, you can probably guess why.
Oh, hey there, Griffins. Oh, that takes me back.
Meanwhile, Chris mistakes a man in a wheelchair for a robot because, well, it's Chris.
Hey, what are you, a robot?
Oh, no, son. It's the 1950s, and I have polio.
Wow, I never heard of that before.
Oh, yeah, Chris. Polio back then was like AIDS today. Except people who have polio get into heaven.
But the real highlight of the night? Peter discovers his all-time favorite song, Surfin' Bird by the Trashmen, playing on the jukebox.
The bird's a word, well, a bird, well, a bird is a word. Chris, don't you know about the bird? Make everybody knows that the bird is a word.
The moment he hears it, he completely loses his mind, dancing, singing, and annoying literally everyone in the restaurant.
Hey, frightened little child, the bird is the word. Lady on the toilet, the bird is the word. Hey, don't you know about the bird?
Sure, everybody knows that the bird is the word.
Oh, well, a bird.
Unfortunately for Peter, one of the employees removes the record because it's technically a 1960s song, meaning it shouldn't exist in a 50s diner.
Wait, can I have that record? I love that song. I'll let you have sex with my daughter.
I don't know. Let's see what your daughter looks like.
So naturally, Peter offers to trade Meg for it in exchange for sex. Classic Peter parenting.
She's right there.
Okay, I'll do her. But can you tell her to cry and beg me to stop?
I think that can be arranged.
Back home, Peter's obsession only grows worse. He plays the song on repeat, belting it at the top of his lungs, even when he's supposed to be sleeping, much to Lois's exhaustion.
The bird's a word, a bird, bird, bird. The bird is a word, a bird, 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 bird. The bird is a word, a bird, 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 bird. The bird is a word, a bird, bird, bird.
Peter, I have a mammogram in the morning.
The next morning, Brian, completely unaware of the musical nightmare that has taken over the house, accidentally triggers the song.
What are you talking about?
Oh, have you not heard? It was my understanding that everyone had heard.
Heard what? Brian, don't!
Oh, well, a bird, bird, bird. A bird's a word, well, a bird, bird, bird.
And Peter, he dramatically pretends to have a mental breakdown and faints, sending Brian into a panic while Stewie just looks completely done with life.
Oh my God, Peter, are you all right?
Things escalate when Peter wastes the family's entire savings just to create a public service announcement, allowing him to dance and sing on television about his beloved song.
Bird, bird, well, a bird is a word.
My God, is it possible? Have the boys in the lab confirm this.
Sir, our math shows that the bird is equal to or greater than the word.
Check it again!
At this point, Brian and Stewie are on the brink of insanity.
Brian,
Yeah?
I don't feel so good.
Unable to endure one more second of this torture, Brian makes a bold decision. They have to steal the CD and destroy it, the same way a fat arm surgery destroyed Star Jones's career.
I look so good! I lost all this weight! Taxi! Coming to show the people how good I look.
That night, in a covert mission, Brian and Stewie successfully retrieve the CD from Peter's grip.
Who did it?
Who did what, Pop? Yes, Peter, what has you upset?
Surfing Bird is gone.
Then, in a glorious slow-motion sequence inspired by Office Space, they completely obliterate it, putting an end to Peter's reign of musical terror. Finally, peace is restored, and no one, I repeat, no one, ever wants to hear about the bird being the word again. Number 5. Taking Meg to prom. Barely Legal is a fan-favorite episode, known for its hilarious and unexpectedly heartwarming moments. And one of the biggest highlights? Brian stepping up to take Meg to prom, a decision he probably regretted almost instantly.
This song kicks ass!
The story kicks off with Meg sobbing as she arrives home, and Brian just happens to be there. Being the good boy he is, he asks what's wrong, and Meg explains that no one wants to go to prom with her. Even her imaginary boyfriend has other plans.
Hi, Jimmy. I heard you didn't have a date to the dance, and I was wondering if you'd like to go with me.
Oh, hang on.
Which in this case involved murdering his own brother just to get out of it. Yep, totally normal behavior.
I'd love to go, Meg, but I have to go to my little brother's funeral that night.
Brian reassures her that she'll eventually find a date, but Meg, drowning in self-pity, insists that no one will ever want to go with her.
No, I won't! I'm so fat and gross!
Oh.
I should just kill myself!
Oh, that's... Come on.
She starts crying even louder and spirals so hard that she actually considers harming herself.
I'm gonna do it! I'm gonna kill myself because no one will go with me!
Oh.
Just as she grabs a knife, Brian intervenes and, out of pure sympathy and maybe a little guilt, tells her that he'll take her to the prom.
All right, Meg, look, what if I drove you and walked in with you or whatever?
Brian, will you go with me?
Are you gonna kill yourself if I don't?
Yeah!
Well, then my hands are pretty much tied.
Meg instantly shifts from despair to euphoria, hugging Brian so tightly he might need CPR, and she immediately starts planning her outfit.
Thank you, thank you, thank you! Oh, I have to buy a new dress. All the ones I have make me look fat.
Oh.
Come Friday night, Brian is suited up, holding a bouquet, waiting for Meg downstairs. Lois, seeing this rare act of kindness, praises him for being such a wonderful person.
Oh, Brian. It is so nice of you to take Meg to this dance. It really means a lot to her.
You got any weed?
I put it in your coat pocket.
Stewie, on the other hand, seizes the opportunity to roast Brian. With a mischievous smirk, he greets Meg like a royal princess. But the way he says it oozes sarcasm.
She is. Brian, I present to you your polished turd for the evening.
How do I look, Brian?
You sure do, Meg.
FYI, the carpet matches the drapes in color and length.
Brian, of course, is less than thrilled about this entire situation, but he puts on a brave face to avoid hurting Meg's feeling.
Well, Brian, here we go. Oh, this is gonna be so much fun.
When they arrive at prom, he immediately takes a strong shot of alcohol, bracing himself for the longest night of his life.
This song kicks ass.
As the night progresses, Brian gets way too drunk and starts acting completely unfiltered.
Are you drinking so much because you don't want to be here?
No, Meg. That's my God. Look at these chicks. You know the best thing about these girls is, even if you're terrible, they don't know the difference.
Things take a turn when Connie, the school's resident mean girl, spots them and immediately humiliates Meg by pointing out that she brought a dog to prom. She demands that Meg leave, laughing at her expense.
Brian, let's just go.
No. Hang on, Meg. Hang on. You see, Connie, you're popular because you developed early and started putting out when you were 12, but now you can't stand to look at yourself in the mirror because all you see is a whore.
In a truly heroic moment, he stands up for Meg, verbally obliterating Connie with an insult so brutal that she bursts into tears and flees the prom. That's right, Brian dunked on a high schooler so hard that she ran for her life.
So you pick on Meg to avoid the inevitable realization that once your body's used up by age 19, you're gonna be a worn-out, chalky-skinned burlap sack that even your stepdad won't want. How's that? Am I in the ballpark?
Meg, completely smitten after witnessing Brian's unexpected act of chivalry, praises him for being so amazing. And then, in the most horrifying twist of the night, she leans in and kisses him.
Sorry, that was the booze, not you. You gonna eat that?
A sweet moment, maybe for Meg, but for Brian, yeah, that's gonna haunt him forever. Number 6, buying Stewie a new Rupert. The Dog Bites Bear episode delivers one of the most touching moments between Brian and Stewie, when Brian buys Stewie a brand new Rupert. The story kicks off with Stewie settling in for a Fast and the Furious marathon, completely engrossed in his playful banter with Rupert.
You're starting with 6?
Yeah, we're going in order from best to worst. 6, 5, 7, 3, I know that's controversial, 1, 4, 2. By the way, don't tell Rupert about Paul Walker being D-E-A-D, he doesn't know.
Brian tries to join in, but quickly grows frustrated with Stewie's nonstop chatter with an inanimate bear. Annoyed, Brian heads out to a bar to drown his irritation in alcohol.
Are you gonna keep talking like this during the whole thing?
What? I'm answering Rupert's questions. Now we're gonna have to rewind. We just missed the scene where half the team steals a tank while the other half pretends to be a DJ for some reason. Damn it!
Yeah, okay, I'm going to the bar.
Later that night, Stewie goes to bed, only to wake up and discover a horrific sight. Brian, completely drunk, has ripped Rupert to shreds.
No! Rupert! Rupert!
Hi, this is Vin Diesel. Oh man, did your friend kill your other friend? That's betrayal. That's not strong.
Stewie is devastated, screaming Rupert's name in agony. Enraged, he starts punching Brian repeatedly, calling him a murderer. Brian, panicked, apologizes profusely, insisting that it was just a drunken accident.
Look at me, watch, see what I'm doing? Twitter, unfollow. Instagram, unfollow. Snapchat, unfollow. And there we go. Done.
But Stewie refuses to forgive him and officially cuts ties.
We are not friends anymore.
But Stewie,
Bye. Dikembe Mutombo, will you do the thing?
Brian, you are blocked.
When Brian later learns that Stewie is traveling to Vermont to scatter Rupert's ashes atop Mount Mansfield in Smuggler's Notch State Park, he follows him, wanting to make sure he's okay.
Well, you're not going to sit with me.
Oh, come on. If I don't, I'll get stuck next to that guy with the heavy hands.
Hi, doggy.
Serves you right.
And a baby!
However, Stewie becomes even more hostile, and their argument escalates into an actual fight. In a shocking twist, Brian admits that destroying Rupert wasn't an accident. His jealousy and frustration got the best of him.
You know what? It wasn't an accident. I knew he wasn't a chew toy. I was sick of you talking to him all the time. I was sick of you complaining to him about me when I'm right there in the room. And I was sick of always playing second fiddle to that bear. He's not even real.
This revelation infuriates Stewie, but their brawl comes to a sudden stop when Stewie falls off a cliff, badly twisting his ankle and becoming unable to walk.
Oh my God, Stewie!
I didn't know we were blowing it up.
Brian, feeling guilty, constructs a makeshift stretcher and carries Stewie up the mountain. Throughout the entire climb, Stewie relentlessly reminds Brian that this act of kindness does not mean he's forgiven.
Maybe it's appropriate that you're my ride-up. Rupert always called you my bitch. Want to know some of the other things he called you? Fat lassie. Scooby don't. You see all the time because you don't put your tail down. Snoop Doggy Dick.
But as they journey upward, they start to open up about their true feelings. Brian confesses that he was bothered by how much time Stewie devoted to Rupert.
Wiser than people 40 times your age, why is Rupert the one baby thing you're hanging on to? Why are you so upset over a doll when I'm real and I'm still here?
While Stewie reveals his deep-seated fear that Brian's old age means he won't be around forever.
And one day, all too soon, I'm gonna be crying at your funeral in an Armani suit. And people are gonna be like, oh, nice suit. And I'm gonna be like, why are you talking about my awesome $2,000 suit? My friend's dead.
Once they reach the summit, Stewie is so overcome with grief that he can't bring himself to scatter Rupert's ashes.
Are both incredibly grateful for all the time we had with you, and we wouldn't change a single moment. Except the end. Sorry about that. Rest in peace, Rupert.
This shared moment of closure allows them to finally reconnect.
Pour it out.
I have a Gatorade bottle full of pee from the bus.
Pour it out for Rupert.
On the way home, Brian quietly stops at a vintage toy store while Stewie is asleep. That night, when they return, Brian carries Stewie to bed and secretly places a brand new Rupert beside him. When Stewie wakes up and sees the bear, his pure joy is undeniable. A truly beautiful moment between him and Brian.
Rupert, you've come back to me!
Number 7. Rescuing Stewie from the ocean depths. In the episode Lawyer Guy, Brian develops a huge craving for lobster rolls and asks Stewie to help him find the best place to get one. However, they soon discover that the line at the food truck serving them is insanely long.
Hey guys, you're cutting in line. It starts back there.
What? No! All I wanted was just some decent lobster.
That's when Stewie, in a moment of wild yet weirdly logical thinking, suggests they catch their own lobsters instead of waiting.
What are you even suggesting, Stewie? That we, get a lobster boat and be lobstermen?
Yeah.
The next day, they dive right into their new lobster fishing adventure. Stewie even fully commits by dressing as a classic yellow slicker fisherman.
I can't believe we're doing this. We're actually going lobster fishing.
Our way of life is disappearing, Bri.
Stewie, we got the boat 20 minutes ago. Settle down.
Brian comes prepared with all the necessary equipment, though he's a bit concerned about why Stewie insists on bringing Rupert along.
Okay, apparently I said half hitch or whatever.
I don't even know why you brought him.
Let's not talk about it. He gets so jealous when you and I hang out.
Well, tell him he doesn't have anything to worry about.
He doesn't?
3 hours pass, and they still haven't caught a single lobster. The reason? Brian accidentally dumped Stewie's painkillers into the ocean.
You shouldn't have dumped all my Percocets in the water. Now the lobsters are just down there hanging out and defrauding the government for disability checks.
Frustrated, Brian suggests they relocate, leading to a hilarious argument.
Maybe Roger Waters?
George Strait?
Billy Ocean?
Ricky Lake?
River Phoenix?
How are those celebrity water puns working out?
Well, this has been a bust.
See Thomas Howell? Anyway, your guys were good too.
This is followed by a dramatic moment where Stewie, standing on the boat, furiously yells at God just as a massive storm suddenly strikes the sea.
Strike me down, you coward! I have big feelings about weather! The storm symbolizes my madness! This is worth it for fish!
Once the storm passes, the boat is mostly intact, but not everything survived. Rupert has fallen overboard and is sinking fast. This leads to a shocking revelation that will send chills down your spine.
How did he sink so fast?
He might have a string of metal balls, hidden within?
What?
We've been together a long time, Brian. We have to do things to keep it fresh.
Stewie and Brian quickly check the map before diving into the ocean to rescue Rupert, only for Brian to be attacked by a shark. In a desperate attempt, Stewie dives even deeper to grab Rupert. However, the shark violently slams Brian against a rock, knocking Rupert even further into the abyss.
And just like that, Rupert sank forever into the inky deep. Also, did you know that the ocean is 40% fish whiz? All this and more on West's Wonders.
Once back on the boat, Stewie adamantly insists on going back down to save Rupert, but Brian tells him it's over. Rupert has sunk too deep.
I don't care what you do. I'm going back to save Rupert.
Fine, go ahead and try. You'll be back in 1 minute. That's just enough time for me to remember the name of the main guy and that thing you do.
While Brian appears calm, it's clear that he is extremely worried about Stewie's safety.
Bachman Todd. That Thing You Do, starring Tom Hanks and Bachman Todd. Yeah, okay, I see the poster now. Oh, whew, what a relief. Okay, mystery solved.
Deep underwater, the intense water pressure begins to damage Stewie's diving suit, but his willpower keeps him going. Just as he finally spots Rupert, his oxygen runs out. It seems like Stewie is done for, until Brian, his true best friend, arrives just in time to save him and read his final message.